Welcome back to another edition of DC, a Chocolate City Story, the Massive Host King Flexxa here, and this is the third exclusive chapter of the Hennessy Never Stop, Never Settle Society series, highlighting entrepreneurs from all over that embody that Chocolate City spirit. And today's special guest, man, is entrepreneur, stylist extraordinaire, Bobby Wesley, man. What's up?
What's up, man? What's going on?
It's a
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. For sure. You're doing some great work, not just where you're from, but globally at this point. So just tell us about your background a little bit and, how you got started on this journey of styling, some phenomenal celebrities.
Well, first, my name is Bobby Wesley. I'm from New York with a Caribbean heritage. I was born here in New York, and then for 13 years, I was raised in St. Croix.
Okay.
I'm
Jamaican, so I could.
You Jamaican?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm actually, I just been to Jamaica for the first time in April.
Okay.
And it was a liberating experience, man. Like, being from the Caribbean and going to like the roots of reggae.
Yeah.
Marley, like that is like one of the most liberating things for me, and I'm trying to get back there as soon as possible, man, just to tour the island, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving back to the mainland, main American land, from St. Croix, tackling, high school, college, and meeting people, and then getting into this business,
Right.
Navigating my way through the fashion industry has been one of the most interesting and fun and storytelling experiences of my life. I think that's what life is. Life is about living and being able to tell a story at the end, right?
Right.
And I think I have a good story to tell my kids.
Yeah. It's almost like that thing that just happened is like the light bulb went off, like you was dropping a gem.
Yeah. I was just talking to my assistant yesterday, 2 days ago, and we were just talking about like privilege, like what is privilege to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And privilege can have so many different meanings. If you were born and you were given the option, you were given a silver spoon or a wooden spoon, right? Before you were born, it might have people going.
Talk about it, please.
Before you're born, if you're given a option, take a silver spoon or a wooden spoon, a lot of us would choose the silver spoon because shiny. Like, it's like, oh wow, that looks nice, right? And for myself, I've been given a wooden spoon, right? But I think the blessing in that wooden spoon is the journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a story to tell now because I have to weave my way to become that silver spoon.
Something to work towards.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Whereas if I choose a silver spoon, I have no real story. It's like, this is my life. I've done all these amazing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So although the silver spoon is where we all want to end up, and sometimes you wake up in the morning sometimes and it's like, damn, man, I don't want to work. I'm tired. Like, but that's the blessing. You know what I'm saying?
The ability.
You're aiming towards something. Exactly.
Nah, for sure. Nah, that's a gem in it, like a strong gem in itself. When did you know, and that takes me here, when did you know you wanted to take the entrepreneur route? When did you know that this route was for you?
The minute that I graduated from, I'm not saying the minute I graduated from college. After the first year of working for a company, after graduating from college, I realized that I wanted something more. I hate repetitiveness.
Okay.
Right?
Shake up.
Anytime it's me waking up, going to an office, taking lunch, getting off of work, jumping on the train, going back home, doing it over and over again. Yeah. Some people don't mind, and I don't knock people for it. But for me, it's like I always watch the clock at my desk, right?
Watching the time.
And my uncle, Eric Archibald, he is an amazing stylist and costume designer. When I was younger, you know, he styled Diddy and Busta Rhymes and Michael Jordan and all these, you know, great people.
Dope.
And I always looked up to him. And because of him, I always had just a sense for fashion and a sense for wanting like dope stuff. So even when I was in school, I always had like, you know, dope pieces. When Jordans dropped, I always made sure I go cop the Jordans naturally, because that's, as a New Yorker, that's what you did. You know what I mean?
That's what you do. And what part of New York you from?
I was born in Queens. Okay. As I got older, I moved to Long Island.
Got you.
So I rep Long Island. I rep Brentwood, Long Island. You know what I'm saying? But anywhere in New York, I know, you know, New Yorkers from the 5 boroughs, they'd be like, man, you from Long Island? You ain't from really New York or whatever.
Nah, it's all good. And I'm from Brooklyn, so we salute we salute all the boroughs and all the areas, man.
Right. But a lot of kids from the city live on Long Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we naturally took the culture to Long Island. So we had to be, you know, fly. We had to be, you know, on trend with what the city kids did. And then I went to school. I went to college. My first college I went to was upstate New York, SUNY Delhi, where I was in the pits, the SUNY schools, where I was in the pits with all the 5 boroughs kids. So you had to, in order for you to be cool, you had to be fly. You know what I'm saying?
Conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter. If you want to meet friends, they got to come to you and be like, yo, where you get those sneakers from? You know what I mean? Where you get that jersey from? Where you get those jeans? You know what I'm saying? That's how you meet friends. So that's just a New York culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know? When I went to the South, I went to Georgia State. I took that to the South. So I ultimately was just cool because of who I was. And
I'm sure you was like ahead of a lot of things due to the fast pace that New York forces us to be, and then
100%.
but for down south to be a little bit more even keeled somewhat, and
100%.
So that the hustle was there.
And they I mean, this statement is cliche now, but they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Absolutely. Right? So, you know, leaving New York for 5 years for school and, you know, to start my adult life a little bit, I was ahead, you know what I'm saying? Because of just my culture, where I'm from.
Right.
You know? And then I studied economics, and then you hear things from people and successful people. They say, you know, turn your passion into money. You know, that always stuck with me. So it's like
passion into paycheck.
Exactly. So while I would work my 9 to 5, I had a blog. It was called the Chronicle, and the Chronicle pretty much talked about anything that was dope, anything that was new in the fashion industry. Right. You know,
specifically fashion. Gotcha.
Specifically fashion. It wasn't about you know what went on in people's lives, like, you know, what the bloggers blog about today. No, this was literally about the newest sneaker that's coming out, what sneaker you should have. You know, I remember that at the time, Balmain was like the it brand, which it still is to some extent. But like, so I would blog about everything Balmain and everything Raf Simons and all that stuff that the celebrities, you know, would eventually wear.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where my passion for fashion started. Just talking about it.
Just talking about it. It really built like a different kind of purpose and passion within you.
Yes. Eric, my uncle, saw that, and unfortunate things happened in Atlanta, and I ended up moving back to New York.
Gotcha.
I first transitioned to New York in corporate America, had my company transfer me, and then my uncle was like, hey, if you're gonna move back to New York, you should actually think about tackling fashion.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So at that point, I was thinking more, I was on a salary, I had benefits and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to push all this to the side to do a maybe if it happens.
Yeah.
And Eric saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And he was like, man, don't worry about the money. Like, you'll be fine, you know? And I started assisting him, and the first project that I literally worked on was the Sean John spring summer 2016. I want to say spring summer 2016 campaign. It wasn't even like a regular photo shoot. It was a campaign that he put me on. He was like, "Yo, you can do it."
Yeah.
And I was scared out my boots, bro. Like, and we Puff and those guys, they flew us to LA. We shot in Malibu, and it was a successful shoot.
Wow.
And I found my love right then. It's
that
like,
was
man,
that was the
that was a moment. That was a moment for me. You know, I stopped counting the hours of my work days. I stopped working, 8-hour work days, count 8 hours, to working 17 hours and not counting it, which is crazy to me, right?
Look forward to the next day to not count it and lose.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I haven't counted time in about 10 years.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
That's satisfying for real.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that was my moment when I was like, yeah, this is for me. You know.
That's dope, and that takes me here. While being an entrepreneur, it could be very easy to work around the clock, right? So how are you able to, find your own personal balance and make time for your spirit and mental health, especially with today's day and age and the climate that we're in?
There's because I'm in the service. So although I'm an artist, I'm still in the service industry, right? So I'm still serving whoever that hires me. I've come to a point, which is a blessing from God, that someone is calling my phone every day. They're asking for my presence to help them with their style.
Oh.
And I've built a team around me that I've trained very well that can, take on certain tasks.
Yeah.
There was a point in my life where I worked every day. I was what we call in the streets like grinding. Like I was really grinding, and now I've built the ability. I have the ability to now, put my staff on certain tasks where I can take some days to myself,
Yeah.
and just show up, when it's time for me to meet my client. They can prep for me, So
it's really like that. I feel like your team, like you've been able to uplift and empower a team that can help relieve a lot of what you used to take on all by yourself.
Exactly. So as a business owner, there comes a time where we're humans. We got to grow, right? whether we want it or not, we have to grow.
You have to grow and evolve.
We have to grow and evolve. And growing and evolve, I have to grow and evolve my team. My team has to grow and evolve. So now the little things that I used to do, they can do for me.
For sure.
And then, I can take that time to better myself, whether it's going to the gym, meditating, laying in bed for a little bit longer and just thinking about the next move. Because, styling is everything for me right now. But, I have to think about, how do I grow as a brand? How do I grow as Bobby Wesley? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. That's strong. That's strong for sure. And how has this time, like the pandemic from last year and that is still going on, how has that impacted your business, whether good, bad, or indifferent?
The pandemic has, I thank God, was off maybe 2 months during the pandemic. The first 2 months during the pandemic, when I want to say, what month was that? I want to say it was like.
Was it March, April?
June?
Okay.
No, March and April. We were through the thick of the pandemic, where everyone was scared. Everybody was home. But I think when it got really hot in the summer, like June, when Miami kind of opened up a little bit, where everybody, if you lived in New York, you were like, yo, what are they doing down there? Some of my clients were down there.
It was like Miami, Atlanta, Houston, like those southern, a couple of those hot.
Yeah, those southern, even LA, where the climates were hot, because they said that, the virus can't live in the heat. So wherever it was hot, people went down
Yeah.
to, you know, get away from the reality of it.
Yep.
Some of my clients were in those climates, but they were working. They were creating content. They were shooting videos. You know, they were doing a bunch of different things where they needed my help. You
Okay.
know, and so, you know, as crazy as it sounds, like I was traveling, but and it was weird because I was on a big ass plane. I'm sorry for cursing. I
Nice.
was on a big plane with like 5 people going to LA.
Had all that space, all
I had
that.
all that space. You know what I'm saying? So I worked. So a lot of people felt and you know, it was sad. Like a lot of people felt the pandemic in a negative way
Mm-hmm.
because there was no work. But you know, I was working. I was creating content as well with my clients during those times. You know.
So that's a gift. That's a gift, like a silver lining throughout a unknown, unprecedented time.
Yes, 100%. You know, and I thank God for that for sure.
Nah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned your uncle. Um, is he a main inspiration? Like, who or what are some of your inspirations to keep you going and doing what you're doing with your brand?
My family, my family and I are very close.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Eric, who is like one of the first successful. I'm a second generation. Uh, I don't want to say immigrant because I was born here,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but you know, my mom and my dad were immigrants
Mm-hmm.
here. You know, so looking back at them, you know, I look at them every day. So I talk to my pops. My pops is just calling me just now, like, you know, that's my inspiration. You
Yeah.
know, I want to be that son. I'm their only child.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a brother or sister to, if I was to fail or if I have an off year,
Yeah.
I can like say, yo, help me out this year, man. I'm not, you know what I mean? I got to be on all the time for
Yeah.
my family.
So you lean on yourself because you don't have any siblings. How's that experience being a only child growing up? Like, would you say?
Uh, I didn't feel, so because my grandmother raised me in the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
I also raised with my cousin. So it didn't seem like I was the only child
Yeah.
until I'm back to New York. And I
Okay.
was like, damn, I'm the only one here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
But my cousin Letice, my grandmother, who's an amazing woman, man, like she took my Letice and I, my cousin and I, from our parents because my parents had me at 18 and 20. You
Okay.
know, they were young. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
she took me and took us to the Caribbean while my parents stayed in New York and you know built a life. You know, so by the time we were ready to move back to New York,
Yeah.
we had you know some type of stability. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
My grandmother was a reason. My grandmother was the one that took the chance to say, you know what, I'm not going to keep my kids in Antigua. I want to take them to America, you know,
He had
to
that
live a
vision.
big life. It
He had that
can't.
vision.
He had that vision. You know what I'm saying? And I thank her for that. You know, so you know, every day, man, like I get up and work. Sometimes I don't want to work. I think about my grandmother. Like, yo, if it wasn't for her, I could be in the Caribbean right now, just
That's real.
sitting down on the porch doing nothing.
That's
You know
real.
what I mean? Because that's the Caribbean life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might have a job on Sundays, on Saturdays and Sundays. You relax, you chill. It's a very slow life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is also a blessing too, because that's what you know we work for. We work hard in America. When we get older, we move back to the Caribbean. We enjoy our money, and
Right.
you know
Peace.
what I'm saying?
Peace.
Peace. You know what I mean? So for my grandmother to think like, you know what, they shouldn't live like this the whole life. They should actually, you know, go get educated, go get good jobs, and then if they want to come back here
Uh-huh.
and build a house, then that's for them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my motivation every day.
Nah, that's dope, man. And
You know?
it's so infectious because you get to live through, their vision and what they see, what they saw for the next generation of the
Yes.
legacy of the family. So let me ask you this, Bobby. Can you tell us about a moment in your journey where you were faced with hardship or an adversity, but you were able to pull through and come out even stronger than before? Like, What was that hardship moment that really stands out?
Damn, my job is so fun.
It's hard to even find.
It's hard to like
moment.
Hardships. My hardships would be, you know, in dealing with my clients. Some of my in dealing with some of my clients, like I've dealt with so many different personalities.
Yeah.
Right. That some clients. I mean, I'm even embarrassed to say this because some people are like, man, I'll deal with this stuff. Like sometimes I will go on set and some of my clients won't even show up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Not even show up at all.
Not even show up at all. And I'm on my client. I always have to remain as a professional in this business. I always have to be on my client side. Right. So even if they don't show up, it's okay. I have to understand why they didn't show up. You know, the hardship in that is me having to deal with who hired us for that client to show up. You see what I'm saying? Because even though they don't show up, I still have to be on set. I still have to remain professional. I have to be ready just in case they happen to change their mind and show up to set. In that time of them not being on set, I have to explain to whatever publication, you know, how far they might be, when they might show up. You know what I'm saying? And I think
the onus gets put on you in that moment.
Exactly. You know? So I have to now change from being a stylist to partially a manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like, you know, these things that I go through sometimes on set, it's like, it ain't my job. I'm not getting paid for it. Right?
Right.
But as a person in the position that I am, you have to play so many different roles.
Yeah, you got to be able to adjust and adapt.
Be able to adjust and adapt. You know what I mean? And as an entrepreneur in itself, you have to be so many different people. You got to be the janitor. You got to be the worker. You got to be the boss. You know what I'm saying? As an entrepreneur. And a lot of people don't know this. You know what I mean? They think they see the glitz and the glam. Like there's only, if you follow me on Instagram, I only post maybe 2% of my life. What goes on in my life. You know what I'm saying? And most people, they say, oh man, I would love to assist you. I would love to work with you. And I've hired a couple of people, giving some people a chance. And when they actually see what I do, it's like, I'm not doing this. I'm good. You know what I mean? This is blue collar work. High paid blue collar work.
High paid blue collar work.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, those, I mean, that's pretty much one of the biggest, you know, trial and I guess tribulation that I go through on a daily, you know.
And you mentioned about clients, like who's some of your favorite, you know what I'm saying, some of your favorite and positive and big energy clients that you've had the pleasure to work with that really stand out in your career at this point?
Wow, if my clients see this right now, they'll be like, damn, you ain't said my name yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know they all are special, right? And they all
so all my clients are special, but you know, I mean, some stand out more than others, right? So I've been lucky enough to work with, you know, Future is one of my favorite people to work with because the guy is a hard work, inspirational. He's like, when I look at him work, it's like, this is how I become successful. You know what I'm saying? His energy is amazing. Young Thugs, he's like, I've never felt the love from a client like I felt from Thug. Like, he treat me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up with him, you know? And that's hard. That's a hard trait to have. I'm not gonna say it's a hard trait to have. You have to just have it. You know what I mean?
It's either you have it or you don't. It's one of those like
you have it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Who else I've worked with? Man, this group of girls, Fifth Harmony. When I first started in the industry, that group I worked with first before I even worked with anyone else, and the love that they gave me was like, it made me feel like I had kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the love. I don't have any kids, but I know that some people say like, you don't know what love is until you have kids, right? And these girls, like the way that the energy that they gave me is like some of the most, I still remember to this day, and I haven't worked with those girls in years.
But the feeling is still there.
That feeling is still there. Yeah, for sure.
That's dope, man. So look, Bobby, Hennessy's mantra is never stop, never settle, right? So what does that mean to you in a nutshell when it comes to never stop, never settle?
And being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, that statement is what you need to even be, right? Not even to be successful, to even be, right? Never stop on your dream, never settle on where you are, right? It's always about growing, right? Yeah. Never stop, never settle. Before Hennessy, I'm not gonna say before Hennessy, when Hennessy first started the Never Stop, Never Settle campaign, I didn't even know that it was gonna be as big as it is. So I took that Never Stop, Never Settle and put it in my email signature.
Oh, that's hard.
Because I was never going to stop, and I was never going to settle for my accomplishments or from my accomplishments. I always wanted more.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so that Never Stop, Never Settles means a lot for me, for sure.
Cool. And where do you see your brand in the next year? Like, what's next for?
My team is evolving. We're going into design.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that the real people that live on forever are the creators of this world. Right? So when you die, we're all going to die. When you die, your creations will live on, whether it's in museums, whether it's in, people's homes. And I want to be a part of that. I want to live forever, right? Hoping physically, but that's not possible. I'm not God, right?
Right.
But I want to create something in people's homes and people's minds and people's hearts that when I'm long gone, it's still there.
Strong. So powerful. So for anyone who want to follow in your footsteps, what are 3 tips that you like to leave them with? 3 main tips.
The first tip is to believe in yourself, right? Believe that you can be who you think you are in your head, right? That's the first step. The second step is to seek knowledge and who you want to be. If in any business that you want to be a part of, in any endeavor that you want to tackle, the best way to do it is to channel and to shadow someone that's tackling, that same endeavor.
Yes.
If you want to be a barber, find the best barber that you have. And I'm not talking about, the best barber who sits in a shop all day just cutting hair. I don't believe in that. I tell my barber this all the time. Like, I think you're dope. I think you should travel the world. Yeah. Find a client and travel the world with him. Like, do commercials. You want to be able to, as much as I don't even watch TV as much, but you want your work to be on TV. The reason being is it just, you want whatever you're doing to be seen to the world.
To be amplified.
Yeah. You want it to be seen to the world, So channel somebody that is successful and is taking the right paths, and they'll show you the way. Not even they'll show you the way.
Just in being.
And it will help make you a better person. Every successful person have a mentor.
Yeah.
Every successful person have a mentor. No matter who it is. Even if they might not even tell you, or they might not tell you that they have someone that they go to, but they do.
It's organic.
It's organic. They might be on the phone and somebody's giving them advice. A lot of people who have in our culture, in our generation, you know, there's this thing called self-made.
Yeah.
We like to amplify self-made, and I did this by myself or whatever. But there was somebody in your back corner that said, you know what, you should have maybe did this way. You know, you should do it this way. You should stop surrounding yourself around these people, or so forth, or so on and so forth. You know, so
Those little tidbits of advice, it helps build who you are and where you're going with your brand. Yep. Yep.
yes, yes. And then the final, the third tip is to never stop and never settle.
There it is. There it is, man.
That's it.
Bobby Wesley, man, if you want to put to action these 3 tips from our entrepreneur or gather more educational resources, visit Hennessy's Never Stop, Never Settle Society.org. Yo, Bobby, man, it's been a pleasure. For real.
Sir, thank you. Thank you, guys.
So many gems and salute to you and your career, man. I feel like sky's not even the limit for you because you're just shooting, man.
I got to keep going, man. I got to keep going, man. I got to keep growing.
There it is, man. Bobby Wesley, Never Stop, Never Settle, DC, a Chocolate City story. Man, he embodies the Chocolate City spirit for sure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
One love.